Before we get started, make sure to turn on post notification and subscribe to the channel. Real reason Asuka won the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. In WWE's final pay-per-view of the year, the ladies of SmackDown Live stole the show with an incredible first ever women's triple threat tables, ladders and chairs match in the main event. Asuka, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch tore the house down in TLC, putting in some truly brutal spots, from Becky Lynch diving off a ladder to crush Charlotte through a table, or the Queen spearing Asuka through the barricade. In the end, it was the Empress of Tomorrow who walked away with the SmackDown Live Women's Championship with an assist from Ronda Rousey, securing her first championship since joining the main roster. Even though Lynch is arguably the most popular wrestler on the entire roster, the creative team clearly felt like it was time for a change. But what was the real reason for giving Asuka the Women's Championship? Building on her momentum. After joining the main roster, with the longest undefeated streak in WWE history, during her time in NXT, the company had a legitimate start on its hands. Asuka was red hot after her time in developmental, and she was immediately booked strong on the main roster. From being the sole survivor of her team to winning the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, it was clear that the company wanted to keep pushing her. Asuka was then given a dream match at WrestleMania 34 against Charlotte Flair, but WWE opted to end her undefeated streak at this point in a brilliant match. While some people complained about that decision, it was actually a wise move to bring the streak to an end on such a big stage, and it didn't impact her negatively at all. However, Asuka's subsequent feud with Carmella certainly hurt her in the eyes of the fans. WWE didn't want to take the title away from Carmella and tried to think of unique ways to have Asuka lose without making her look weak, but in the end, it just buried her. Thankfully, in recent weeks, there have been groundswell of support for Asuka once again. The WWE Universe has been incredibly vocal in their support of Asuka, and for once, the management team have listened. The opportunity was clearly there to give Asuka a major push, and WWE has taken it, giving her the time to shine as champion, and considering how talented she is, there's no doubt she'll make the most of it, keeping the Royal Rumble fresh. The next major pay-per-view for WWE is the Royal Rumble, and for the second year in a row, there'll be a Women's Royal Rumble match. Last year, the match was fantastic, and it was Asuka who's given the moment as she won. While there's nothing wrong with having her in the match again, after all, the men's match will be littered with former winners this year, from Randy Orton to Rey Mysterio. Now having Asuka in the match will keep it incredibly fresh. With Asuka heading into the Rumble as champion, she won't be taking part in the match, and that means she'll be guaranteed another first time ever Rumble winner, which helps keep fans interested in the match. WrestleMania 35 plans. For as much stick as people give WWE about not having long-term booking plans, giving Asuka the Women's Championship is very much being done with long-term goals in mind, and it all evolves around 4 different people. Right now, the women's storylines, especially on the SmackDown side, are the hottest thing in the company and have the WWE Universe firmly invested. Everyone is expecting WrestleMania 35 to be headlined by a women's match, and right now, that feels like the right decision. That isn't being forced, but it's natural. Most people are expecting the match to be Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, but the obvious hurdle is the fact that Lynch is on SmackDown and Rousey is on Raw, which creates a problem for WWE putting the match on. However, with Lynch's injury recently, Charlotte Flair got involved in the story, and now a triple threat is also being rumored. This was only intensified at TLC when Rousey pushed both Flair and Lynch off a ladder to allow Asuka to win the title. There's obviously going to be repercussions to her actions, with both Charlotte and Becky wanting revenge, and having the title on neither of them means they can head on to the Royal Rumble with the aim of becoming the #1 contender. As we shown last year, when Asuka won the match and switched to the blue brand, the winner of the match can be moved brands if they want, and therefore having either Charlotte or Becky win the match means that they can move to Raw and challenge Rousey for the title in a possible Mania main event clash. With everyone wanting to see the man take on the baddest wrestler on the planet, WWE has a chance to put on a major rematch between Charlotte and Asuka on the SmackDown side, putting on 2 amazing matches on the grandest stage of them all. Even though it seems like WWE is just giving Asuka the title to allow things to evolve between Ronda and Lynch, that doesn't mean that Asuka isn't going to benefit from it. With the Empress of Tomorrow now having the chance to become the megastar everyone thought she could be on the main roster. What do you think of WWE's decision to make Asuka the champion, and what direction do you think the company will be taking her in towards WrestleMania 35? Let us know in the comment section below.